Hello, I'm Richard Bertinet and welcome to my kitchen, the Bertinet Kitchen. It's Christmas. Guess what? I hate mince pie. Well, not anymore. But when I first arrived in England, Christmas was always mince pie in England. And the mince pie, I never got it. I never understood mince pie. There was too much pastry, too much toppings, too much filling, too sweet. I could never understand the mincemeat concept. So I've learned over time to develop my own recipe for mince pie. And now you're in for absolute treat. You're going to fall in love with this one, like I did when I first created this recipe for you. So hope you enjoy it. Follow me, we're going to make some now. So before we make our mince pie, I'm going to show you how to make pastry. And the sweet pastry I'm using now is not a new recipe I've created. It's a recipe I've been using since about the age of about 16. When I was in France as an apprentice, I used that sweet pastry for so many different things. So the first thing we got our flour, our butter, we got eggs, we got our sugar, an orange and a bit of salt. And the first thing I'm going to do before I start working is to get all my ingredients ready, which means I'm going to separate my eggs now. So I need 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. So our eggs are ready, our flour is ready, and I'm going to add a tiny pinch of sea salt in here. Just a tiny bit, about 5 grams of salt. I love that flavor of slightly sea salty flavor in pastry, so just a tiny bit. The next thing I'm going to do is to zest a tiny bit of good orange, so unwaxed oranges, into my flour. So I love the flavor of orange at Christmas, so I'm going to use a lot of orange today. So a bit of zest in there, mix all this together, use your fingers, it's fine. So next thing is the butter. Now your butter, you want it to be very, very cold. If your butter is too hot, too soft, you have a very sticky pastry. With a rolling pin, you bash it. So it's a bit nosy, but hey. Okay, now we need to rub our butter into our flour. Now I say rubbing, but actually what I'm going to do is make it flaked inside. So the way I'm going to show you is you break your butter like this, make sure it's covered in flour. You put your hand underneath like this, and like a little pack of cards, you push it into the flour, like little flakes. A little flake of butter, that's perfect, and don't overdo it. You can see that it's not perfectly fine, but that's good. Now it's time for the sugar. The sugar actually breaks down the butter and the flour. And again, with your finger, just blend it together. Don't overdo it. Nice and dry. Now we're ready for the eggs. 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. So for this, I'm going to use one of my favorite tools in the bakery or in the cooking school, my little scraper. And I'm going to blend everything together. See, what you don't want to do is put your hand in there and squeeze everything. That's where it becomes sticky, and then we start to panic. It looks a bit dry to start with, but don't worry, it's normal. You take a bit of time for the fat from the butter and from the eggs to get into the flour and amalgamate together. So be patient, work it hard, work it into the bowl. So the dough is all together now, but we need to work it together a bit. So it's all one smooth, beautiful dough. Now, it'd be tempting to use your hand and squash everything else. What I want you to do when you do this, when I teach people, there's always the top and bottom in your dough. And this one is the same. So put your thumb this way, 1 foot forward, 1 back, and you push with your thumb and roll it towards you. Just like this. So you got a nice method. And that's your top, and that's your bottom in here. By using the same method all the time, you can see the marbling start to change and become one. A bit of sticky dough, you bring it with your scraper, but you don't add flour. We always think when you start to stick, we put flour, that's the first reflex. But if you put flour now, your pastry will become very hard, and when you roll it, it will crack everywhere. So learn to understand the recipe, work with it, and use the scraper instead of flour. So be patient, it will come together. Here we go. It's all mixed together nicely. We need to rest the pastry. Now very often you read you've got to wrap it in cling film and then put this in your fridge to rest. The problem with this is a big lump of pastry, very cold, wrapped in cling film, gets sweaty, and then you have to roll it thin. If you buy your pastry ready-made, it never comes in cling film, always in greaseproof paper or some kind of breathable paper, and always flat. So why do we teach people to do that? I don't understand. So I'll show you my trick on this one. So first, now we put a tiny bit of flour, like this. Then a tiny bit of flour on top, not too much. This flour is not going to be inside the pastry, it's just for the outside. And then we're going to keep doing a very gentle pre-roll to my pastry. Just keep it square. So So you look nice and tidy. That's all you need to do first. And then we get some greaseproof paper. Just there. Put my pastry inside. And then it's Christmas, so you're going to wrap it properly. Like this. So this pastry is so simple, the hardest thing is to wrap it properly. So you put your paper like so. Fold, fold, and look at this. Wrap there. How beautiful that is. Okay, and that's going to rest in the fridge now. Okay, the mincemeat. What the hell is mincemeat? so they used to use beef suet in the old days. For years I called it beef sweat, which I've been told is not right. Beef suet, it's two different words. Otherwise known as sweaty beef, but it's quite funny. But now we use, of course, we use some vegetable suet. So let me take you through my mincemeat. I got some apple from my garden, which we baked whole with the skin in the oven. We got some nice oranges, we use the skin and we use all the juice fat. Some cinnamon, we got some ginger, ground ginger, vegetable sweat, some currants, some sultanas. We got some whole almond that we crushed, so you get a bit of crunch into your mincemeat. I got some mixed peel to go with it, and some dark brown sugar. Alcohol, I got some brandy, and also some orange liqueur. And basically, you put everything together, stir it very well, put it in a jar, and forget about it until next year. And the good trick with this is buy your fruit in January. Everything is always cheaper. You can buy your fruit, all the Christmassy stuff, much cheaper at that time of the year. Make your mincemeat there, in jar. It will last for 2 or 3 years if you want to. If not, you can always buy some good luxury jar of mincemeat. That will do too. So I'm going to use this little mince pie tray. They're beautiful, not too deep, so just small enough to want another one, but not too much you feel sick. So I got some tiny bit of butter on the baking parchment, and just give it a good. You can use some spray, you can use anything. The butter caramelizes the pastry a bit, so it's quite a little bit more flavor. And it's Christmas, so who doesn't love butter? Et voila. Okay, so my pastry is out of the fridge. It's at Christmas already, look. You can see now it's really, really cold. That's what I want. Don't want to roll too much pastry in one go. So I'm going to cut this in half. Keep this wrapped. And then my pastry, what I'm going to do is just soft it up a little bit. I'm going to dust my table a tiny bit. And then just get my pastry rolled up. So this rolling pin in here is called French tapered rolling pin. They're really very light, but very, very powerful. So by moving your body, then move your arms, you get a much lighter touch. And keep the pastry moving. Don't let it stick, and very fine dust in your flour. And use your fingers to feel the thickness. You can really feel, so that's ready to be cut now. So I use a little cutter and cut my disc. And then place your pastry inside the mold. You don't have to press hard, just place them in the middle. Okay, time to fill up our pastry with a little beautiful mincemeat. So it's about 8 to 10 grams on each one. So I just put my finger in there. You don't want to overfill it. Think of it as a little treat. So now it's time to pipe our almond cream onto the top of our pastry and our mincemeat. So I use the piping bag, I find it much easier. You could use a spoon, of course, but it's a bit neater with the piping bag. So our mincemeat and our almond cream on top. Now to get a bit of crunch, I'm going to put some flaked almond on top. So I'm putting quite a lot of almond on top, but you'll see when they're baked, it won't look as much. So now we're ready for the oven. My oven's been preheated at 190, and they take about, depending on your oven, so be careful, about 16 to 18 minutes in your oven. And voila, look at this. Nice and golden brown, lightly baked underneath, perfect. So I'm going to take them off the molds. I'm going to place them on the cooling rack. So I'm going to show you the way I'm going to serve these this Christmas. When they cool, I'm going to dust them with very fine icing sugar on the top. Okay, for the final touch of my Christmas mince pie this year, I'm going to put a tiny bit of orange zest. Those oranges have been strip, and also we put them in a bit of sugar syrup until they crystallize, and then we cool them down, and they just give you that nice crunch on the top and a beautiful, beautiful zesty orangey flavor. So there you are, my beautiful, gorgeous, perfect mince pie. The final touch, you can always spray a tiny bit of gold dust on top, and this will bring your magic to your Christmas. So I hope you enjoy them, and I just want to wish you a very, very happy Christmas.